Sitaram. Once again, welcome to Sankhya TV SWA DHARMA, your weekly program on Thursdays from 6:30 p.m. to 7 p.m. carried exclusively on Sankhya TV. SWA DHARMA, where we use our texts to guide the process, whereby one would realize their full enjoyment in life and share that. Those formulas and those recipes to one and all. Last week we started on the 6 necessary characteristics that every individual should inculcate, should make it part of their life. So we dealt with 3, and this week we'll deal with the other 3. Just as a quick recap, we spoke on Sama, the art of composure, and we pointed, or we allowed the text to point out that this comes a great deal through control of the senses, and we spent a little time on that. The second quality is Dhamma, self-restraint, and we referenced and pointed out with examples that particularly with food, we tend to allow this quality to go astray, but self-restraint is absolutely important in character build. And the last one we spoke about in program before was titiksha, or forbearance, the ability to tolerate and tolerate in a civil manner circumstances when they are not where we wish them to be, how under those circumstances we deal with our fellow man, and how we continue to make concerted efforts to get into the environment where we have that sense of balance. So now we come to quality number 4 in the 6, uprati. Uprati is impartiality. We reference Balkand in Ramayana, and we use the example to highlight the point, how this can actually be enacted in our lives. We are at the point where the sage Vishwamitra, who was the Vidya Guru of Shri Ram and his brothers, made an entry into Ayodhya and came to Dasrath. Dasrath asked him, accorded him full hospitality and respect. And then the great king Dasrath asked him, well, O Muni, what can I do for you? Agya Gurudev, instruct me. And the instruction, the wishes of the sage is written here, and he asked that I want to have your 2 sons, Lakshman and Ram, to keep me company for a period of time, because although I have the ability and the wherewithal to destroy the Rakshasas who are desecrating all the Havans and so forth being done by the holy people and the pious people, I have no intention for specific reasons of getting involved there, but I will not sit by idly and see that go on, that transgression. So I have sought now the assistance of your 2 sons, Ram and Lakshman, to come to alleviate the burdens of the pious. And when he asked for those 2 sons, as Dasrath replied, this is part of his reply, Mango bhumi dhenu dhanakosha sarvasadev aju saharosha. Many times, literally translated, it seems as though Dasrath was going back on his word, because he first invited the sage to ask for what you want. And it seems as though, literally, that he is now backpedaling. But if you follow the arth or the translations, Dasrath, that emperor, who is Vera Avatar, says, Mango bhumi, O sage, ask me things over which I have domain, over which I have control, like land, like wealth, like cows and wealth, access to the treasury, all these things without hesitation. Today I give and I'll give you at once. Sabasuta priya mohi prana kinai. He says, all my sons are like my breath. But Rama det nahi banai guna gusai. You ask me to give to you Ram, but I have no control over him, because the very God of breath is the supreme. In this case, Ram himself. How can I give him who even controls the very breath that we breathe? Or, put another way, who controls life itself. So it was a measured statement. Dashrath knew his place. He realized that this was not his call, this was Ram's call, very much so. Emperor Dashrath did not allow parental love to stand in the way of his children's tuition. And as we say, these books were written and the examples left are as relevant today as they were at that point in time. We too sometimes fall victim to this, whereby a teacher might pass an instruction to our children, might call us in, not too happy with the child's behavior in school. And many times we think that our children who behave as angels at home are also angels elsewhere. That might stand true many times, but many times too, we don't take heed to the teachers and the instructors. And if we do, then that which has to be rectified will be allowed to be rectified. But if we don't act as Dashrath, if we, as Dashrath entrusted the tuition to Muni Vishwamitra, even at his own discomfort and own loss, but he allowed the tuition of the children to take prominence and precedence. So too, when we have to handle situations at school and our children's tuition, we have to allow the instructions, the gurus, because the teachers are gurus in one sense of the word, we should allow them to direct the advancement of that tuition. We further exemplify uparati or impartiality in the very Ramayana itself. And this particular extract is what we call in the analysis of Ramayana Rajniti, or the protocol of politics, ideal politics. And the situation here is that Sri Ramchandra, this is when they were making preparation to build that vast bridge, of which there is evidence to this day, submerged in the ocean, that bridge between the southern part of India and Lanka, while preparations were being made, were being put in place, Shri Ramchandra, Varun Devata, the god of waters, had confronted him. Shri Ramchandraji subdued him. And though confronting Shri Ram, the Lord sought or listened to the advice of the vanquished. Sometimes in politics, it's who is in government, who is in opposition, and there is no listening to either party. And the Lord exemplified that he listened to his opponent. And his opponent's recommendation was that Nal and Neel, those brothers, were quite capable to guide the process of building the bridge. How did the Lord react to that advice? Well, Jamumant bole do bhai, Nal Neel hi sab katha sunai. Shri Ramchandraji passed the suggestion to Brahma, who was in the form of Jamwant, and he allowed Jamwant to conduct the process. And Jamwant independently went and he gave the whole history. He gave a whole history of what took place, what is to take place, which is the building and bridging that vast ocean. And after he explained everything to Nal and Neel, they acceded to the request. Now, Nal learned his skill from his father Vishwakarma, the very architect of the gods. So when the opponent of Ram, in this instance Varun Devata, made the suggestion, it was a plausible suggestion. It was one that didn't reek of cronyism, nepotism. It wasn't about who is my friend and who I know and who is related to me. It was a decision that crystallized out of careful thinking, out of rationale. So it's an architect to build the bridge, nobody else. And that is where the Lord showed again impartiality. It's about the process. It's not about people. We move further. We look at uparati or impartiality in yet another setting. The dhobi, as we had referenced some time ago, the washerman asked the base question, challenging the chastity of Sita Mata while she was in Lanka. We all know in Sundarshan, Hanumanji declared that she remained alone, untouched in her Shok Bhatika. But that wasn't videoed, as it were, that Sri Ramchandra could have produced that as evidence to defend the statement. So he hesitatingly, but according to Rajniti, there was a query and there was no practicable evidence. So he had to oblige and ask that Sita Mata, Queen Sita, leave the kingdom. What was Sita's reaction? She met Valmiki deep into the forest, the sage Valmiki. Muniputri mai janakaki Ramapriya Jagajan Tyagana hetu na janakachu vidhi gati ati balwan. She says, O Muni. Now, a female, we have to draw the parallel. A female in such circumstances where unjustly you have been victimized. It's not a run-of-the-mill situation where the answers might be flowery, the answers might be curt and polite. But in Sita Mata's case, hear how she answers. She says, Muniputri mai Janakaki. She asks, Valmiki, who are you? She says, well, I am the daughter of Janak. Ramapriya Jagajan, and forget circumstances. My lord as Raja Ram, as King Ram, had no choice, little or no choice, when it came to the question put by that Dhobi. But he didn't do it because he didn't love me. He showed that adoration to me, but he had duty came before as a king. Tyagana hetu na janakachu, as to explain my expulsion from Ayodhya, bidhi gati ati balwan. And she says, that is the decree of destiny. A destiny which had to happen, which she allowed to happen because she too had to make her exit from earth. So, even when it comes to personal matters, we have to, don't get too emotional, be impartial to the situation, step back and take a view. And in that way, we make part of our character build uprati or impartial. So we have used different examples to highlight this fourth guna, or fourth main character of character build. The fifth quality, Shraddha or implicit faith. In Aranyakand of Ramayana, that great devotee of Sri Ramchandra, Sutikshan, found himself in a predicament. Sutikshan, after being tutored by his guru, Agastya Muni, as a grateful student, he asked his guru, what can I give you as Guru Dakshina? And Agast first waved away and says, well, you know, I don't need anything. But with the persistence of Sutikshan, in a very reactionary manner, Sutikshan's Agastya Muni says, well, bring me the Lord. And Sutikshan says, my oh my, look what I have found myself in. And not too long after, Sutikshan heard that the Lord was in the forest lands and distance away. And Sutikshan decided, well, look, I will make an effort to meet the Lord and try to woo him to come to my Guru, and that way I will redeem my Guru Dakshina. And the Chaupai says, Manakrama Vachan Rama Parasevak. In describing Sutikshan, Santusidachi says, in thought, word and deed, he was a servant of the Lord. And when we say a servant of the Lord, we really, it is all metaphors, meaning that whatever decisions, whatever actions Sutikshan had to perform, whatever were his thoughts, they were rooted in divinity. Sapanehu an bharosana devak. Not even in dream, he had that implicit faith, that Shraddha, in anyone else save Shri Ramchandra. That's why we always say the God of one's liking and understanding. Have implicit faith. Dishi arubidishi pantha nahi sujha. So Sutikshan was there singing and dancing, his eyes closed, immersed in that love for the Lord. And what happened? Komai cheleu kaha nahi bujha. And at one point in time, when he opened his eyes, he realized he lost his way because he was dancing and chanting the name of the Lord, chanting the glories of the Lord, and lost track of his direction. It says here that with Shraddha, with implicit faith, we all are journeymen on the way to God. Some at different stages, some at different pace, but we are on that track. And the day implicit faith sets in and takes root in the heart of an individual, that's the day we stop searching, not stop searching literally, but that's the day we are searching, but he is moving, he's searching for us too, and moving much faster than we can ever believe. And this is equality which will help the character build, but which also draws like a magnet God close to us. Yet another example of Shraddha, of implicit faith. We move to Lanka Kand of Ramayana, and this is where Angad was in the courtyard of Ravan. He was sent as a dut, as an envoy, to explain to Ravan that even at this late stage, where preparations were well afoot for battle, Shri Ram, the Lord, was willing to have a stay of hand, forgive Ravan once Sita Mata was returned. But in the course of that conversation, Ravan used coarse description about Shri Ram, and Angad had enough. Ram Pratap Sumiri Kapikopa. He, that is Angad, remembering the glories of the Lord, remembering the conquests of the Lord. And these conquests are not merely physical battles. The many, many individuals whom Angad had known, who, as it were, got life water by the help and the blessings of the Lord, he brought those memories to his mind. Sabha Manja Purana Kari Pagaropa, and he sent down the gauntlet. He gave a challenge to the entire parliament and gathering of Lanka in Ravan's court. He said, he planted his foot firmly on the ground. Jo Mama Charan Sakasi Shatatari. Whoever can move these feet, he says, Pirahi Ram Sita Mehari. Then I will concede and declare that Sita as a lost wager. In other words, that Sita, Ravan will be entitled to keep her. What a challenge. Angad was sent as an envoy, became infuriated because of the types of words and descriptions that Ravan put forward on the Ram that Angad had deeply planted in his heart. So enough was enough. And with full faith, knowing fully well that the Lord will not let him down, he planted his foot and sent down that wager, that challenge. One must be reminded that in that sabha, that gathering there, was Meghnad, that loving son of Ravan, whom Ravan had tremendous attachment to among his children, because Meghnad, you know, they say the fruit doesn't fall far from the tree. Meghnad also carried the qualities of Ravan, not only the negative qualities, but his prowess as a prospective leader was never in doubt. So Ravan knew that Meghnad would have been a fit leader for Lanka. So even him, that is Meghnad, could not have moved that foot, because what he essentially had to do was to shake the Shraddha, or the implicit faith that Angad had in God. Yet another example where we talk about Shraddha or implicit faith, and we can't leave Hanuman Baba ever out in these sort of situations. Sri Hanuman was asked to carry this token, this mudrika, this ring from Shri Ram to Sita Mata in captivity, just to bring solace and comfort her and let her know that he is on his way. And Hanumanji watched the vast ocean, and he was preparing to cross the vast ocean. And the first things, Bara Bara Raghuvir Sambhari, he brought Shri Ram Chandraji to mind. So too, for implicit faith, yes, we might offer our energy to accomplish some task, but first we have to fuel that energy, refuel ourselves by taking the name of Bhagwan in our mind. And after having done that, Tarke Upavan Tanai Balabhari, with a great push, Hanuman Baba went into the aerial regions and he made his journey to Lanka. One doesn't get into a challenge without the necessary preparation. Ramayana never said that. Hanuman had the necessary preparation. The challenge was huge, but he had enough, well equipped to take up the challenge. And so if a challenge reaches before us, we just don't simply literally take the name of God and head for it. We also have to make sure there's a certain element of preparation. God help those who help themselves, and then we can take the bull by the horns and challenge it. Hanuman's forte was his Ashta Siddhi. He had mastered those Siddhis, and all because Siddhis is where there's a maneuvering of matter. It's a science that comes from great gurus, as Sudarshan Swami, the guru of Hanuman Baba, taught him. So having listened to the instructions and followed the instructions of his guru, he mastered those 8 siddhis. He was also blessed with those. And there it is. There's no hesitation. There's no ifing. And sometimes it's 10 seconds that cost us a good result. Once he knew he was up to it, he didn't study the task ahead. He had what it takes, and he took the name of Bhagwan with implicit faith. The sixth and final qualities that make up the 6 gunas is samadhan, where there's one unites with God. We might think that this is a pie in the sky concept. I mean, we with all our shortcomings, how can we bridge that gap? What is it about uniting with God? And we continue the kata of Sutikshan, that great chela who had implicit faith in God. From Aranyakan, Munimaga Manj, Achal Hoi Vaisa. When, as we said earlier, Sutikshan lost his way, what did he do? He sat down right where he was. So he was in search, but he decided to sit one place. It seems, a great paradox. How is that going to happen? Pulka Sharir Panaspal Jaisi. And he was overtaken with emotion. And the Panaspal is what we call the jackfruit or the katharna. The thorny skin. That's like compared to when our hairs stand on end. It's a sign. Tulsidas, went into the state as Sutikshan in that state was totally overtaken by emotion. He was one with God. And when that happens, it happens too, and we draw the ruler in everyday life. It happens too at that point in time when we are in the prayer room. It is supposed to be a private moment, not to be advertised. When for that fleeting second or two, we have connected with the divine, that God of our understanding of love, whether it's the female aspect or the male aspect. It could be the Isht, it could be one of his manifestations. We have connected. And that is the samadhan that is possible in everyone who prays and prays regularly. And it really is facilitated by not only praying, by understanding a bit of what one is saying. And that is where samadhan, that transition to samadhan happens. It is exemplified here with Sutikshan, and what reaction it produces, or it produced with Sri Ram Chandraji. It says here that Sri Ram looked on with admiration. Now, Sutikshan was searching for Sri Ram Chandraji. But by the time Sutikshan was heading to that state of oneness, Sri Ram Chandraji went looking for Sutikshan. He hid in the background and he pointed to Lakshman at the state, the admirable state of this devotee, where he is one with God. I might just add on a bit here with the Katha went on. It's a very interesting part. Sutikshan was so steeped in devotion that though the Lord was before him, and if we are sitting in quietness, it is easy to pick up sound. Sutikshan did not realize that they were in front of him until Shri Ramchandra actually removed the form of Ram, which Sutikshan had in his mind, replaced it with Chaturbhuj Roop, with the Vishnu Roop, the sustainer Vishnu, and then when that Murti of Shri Ram, the Supreme Being, was replaced by the sustainer, Sutikshan stirred, and there it is, that embrace with the Lord took place. So Samadhan is that quality we speak about. We move to yet another example of Samadhan, because the idea is to give many examples, relevant examples, from a text that is easily accessible, the Ramayana. And these references can be referenced in all our Puranas, but as I say, we know the Ramayana is within easy access of many people. So we use the Balkand reference here. This is Dasrat and Kaushilya in their previous incarnation as Manu and Shatrupa. They gave up the reign of the kingdom, moved into the forest because there was this burning thirst and quest to connect with the Supreme Master. Vidhi Harihar Tapadekhi Apara. So they went into their austerities to the point in time where they even gave up water, no food, no water, and survived on air. It's a yogic practice, and survived on air alone. And many times, Brahma, Vishnu, and Shiva, creator, sustainer, dissolver, appeared before them. Manu Samip Ay Bahubara, many times, but they will not stir from the austerities because they were waiting on a different person, on the Supreme, from whom many Brahmas, Vishnus, and Shivas come, as we have done in satsang and dealt with in satsang before. And then they heard an aerial voice. Manghu vara bahu bhati lubhai, paramadhir nahi chalahi chalai. Again and again, Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva asked them, what do they want? What do they want? And they didn't stir. And then eventually, an aerial voice, when they had reached that state of Samadhan, when they were not distracted by anything around, that is Manu and Shatrupa, then Lord, just as in the case of Sutikshan, appeared, or he made contact with them with that aerial voice and promised. And that promise, of course, led to the incarnation of the Lord Sri Ramchandra, along with his answers, Brahma, Vishnu, Shiva, Bharat, Lakshman, Shatrughna, in Ayodhya. So, Samadhan being that 6 qualities, and these 6 qualities, as I say, following the example as we have attempted to show, they are within our reach. But what we have to do, we have got to prioritize our undertakings on a daily basis, and then that which we have learned, that which our Puranas and our holy books have said, see how we can implement them in our lives. Once again, we thank you for joining us exclusively on Sankhya TV for SWA DHARMA. We meet and greet next week again at 6:30 p.m. Until such a time, by God's grace, we return. Have a safe and productive week ahead. Sitaram.